Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Calvert alongside the good pastor. You know him, you love him, you're going to put your hands together and welcome back Father Joe Grimaldi to our Father Joe Grimaldi podcast. Friends, I have 2 words for you. Star Lincoln. Okay, make those 4 words. Visit Star Lincoln today. Either in our beautiful showroom or online, the incredible lineup of new 2022 Lincolns are back in stock, and they are ready to move. Shop online with Star Express. Swift, simple, safe. Browse for your new Lincoln from home, customize and order from home, and receive $1,000 in payment assistance. Have I told you Star will buy your car, even if you didn't buy it from us? The previously owned market is so red hot right now, we are happy to have you stop in and visit with one of our executive sales associates. So remember, you have 2 ways, starlincoln.com, or if you're in southeast Lower Michigan, you can visit us at 12 Mile Road just east of Telegraph in Southfield, Michigan. Star Lincoln, home of the Father Joe Star treatment. Wow, I got to tell you, you've come a long way here.
What do you mean?
Starting to be a little nutty behind the scenes, you know, sort of poking at the glass a little bit.
Why not?
Waving while you're interviewing another guest, you know, doing that look at me, and then I've got to do that. Stop it. Stop doing that. I have a question for you. It came via email.
Okay, I hope it's easy.
It is. I think it's going to be super simple. It came through top of mind at lunch with 2 friends of mine, and I saw it on a program, a local television station on Mother's Day.
Wow.
It was a psychic. Well, let me just set it up very quickly. The woman had credentials, and I don't know how you could have credentials, but the credentials basically were she was born with this gift. She could both act as an intermediary between you and your deceased parents.
Oh, I see.
You've seen these sort of things before.
Yeah.
Is there someone here in the room that had a brother that
That's right.
they lost suddenly? Okay. And
yeah.
I'm getting a Gary.
What is that movie? Oh, God help me. Where Whoopi Goldberg is Ghost.
Ghosts with Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Yeah. Anyway, so do you have any ideas, thoughts, or just like stop the podcast? We're not going to even go there. Does the Catholic Church absolutely frown upon anybody suggesting that they can look into the future, see into the past, or connect you with a lost loved one who has passed away?
It's not an easy question because I don't have an easy answer. Mm-hmm. I think it depends on the attitude of the people with anything when we deal with, is it something that the church forbids or is it something that the church allows? I think if you're doing it in such a way that it is a pastime without any serious input, you're talking about the Ouija board and so on.
Yeah.
But think if you truly believe that, the church does not seem to have any credence about it because it's not been proven, I don't think. And can it happen? I don't know. Scientifically, I don't know. You know, there was a movie where there were 2 people trying to decipher whether or not there was somebody in the room that was deceased. And the 2 people are trying to move the handle on this Ouija board, and one is really pushing the other.
Yeah.
So there was no, there it is, the letter W, the letter Y.
Yeah.
That's William. William, are you here? This type of thing. So I've always seen it in a context of comedy. So when it's in a context of comedy, I never took it seriously, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Ouija board, I remember as a kid, we tried to play that a few times. I never really got it, and I know that there are a lot of people still do this on occasion. Well, there was a program on when my parents were around that was on many, many years ago. What was it was Topper. It was a show called Topper. back in the 50s. And I must have been really little, but I remember it. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut for a second, look it up, come back with the details. It'll take me a second. And I'm back. It was Topper. I was correct. It was George and Marion Kirby. And they had a dog named Neil. And the dog drank too much. The dog actually drank gin. A lot of people still do this on occasion. They'll have a party, and if it's just a live-it-up party, like a summer party, they may have a caricature artist, madcap and wacky, and then they might have a psychic if some people want to go see the psychic. And a lot of people don't want to see the psychic. They don't want to hear what the person has to say.
For fear.
For fear that the psychic's going to say, oh. So if you went to one of those parties, would you allow someone to sort of look into or sort of try and connect with you in terms of being a psychic? Would you allow that?
I could go either way on that because I don't believe it. I think they have a way of getting hints from your conversation and then making the predictions sound true. And so that very often people are taken by it. They say, wow, that person really knew what I was headed for and thinking and so on and so forth.
Right.
And yet that person was sharp enough to be able to scan your thinking by what you said. Maybe this person is looking for the beautiful bride to be married in the next few months. Oh, I see. I think, what do I see? Is there a wedding in your mind? Oh, yes, there is. Were you thinking, was it July or was it August?
It was right.
I was thinking of a summer wedding. It had to be that. So you wonder how true that is. I don't believe in it. However, I think it would be fun to see how they do that, to be honest with you.
Well, I think you sort of tipped your cards there a little bit. I think what they do is they allow you to give them just a little too much information.
Yeah.
And then some of the obvious comes out in that part of the conversation. So they get just enough to say, because of what am I seeing? Oh, there was a period where, COVID. Was there an issue with the wedding during the COVID period? Yes, we couldn't have it. Okay, all right. Everybody just quiet for a second. Let me think. I think that's how they basically do it. Now, I think there are some people that actually think they have the gift and try and share the gift.
You've all heard about the Long Island. She's on TV sometimes.
Sure.
What do you call that? The Long Island.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The Long Island medium. Woman's name is Teresa Caputo. She's really good.
She's amazing in how she does it, whatever she does. Whether I believe in it, I don't think so. But
there are some though they're right on it.
She's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean that way.
They get people crying, and they are like.
But if she wasn't good, they wouldn't pay her what they do for TV.
And they have people in Las Vegas that do this.
Yeah.
I've never understood it, but they have like a notepad, and they'll just sort of do this with it. It's almost like they're doing a
sketch.
Yeah, they just the pencil is going back and forth until they come to something. I was thinking about that because, in a weird way, don't we basically get in touch with ghosts or spirits when we say prayers? Aren't we reaching out in some sort of trying to have a relationship, a psychic relationship?
How would you say that?
They may say it sounds like a bit of a stretch. But when you think about the saints, the various saints that we have, that we've grown up with, that are embedded in our Catholic religion, and especially take, for example, the 12 apostles,
sure,
long since deceased, but long forever revered and prayed to, imagining, some sort of a soul or spirit in wherever heaven is, right? So
Yeah,
is
but I
there...
think when you're praying, and you pray particularly directed at one of the saints, what you're hoping is that there's going to be some sort of a connection between that saint and God. And so that in the future, maybe what you've asked for can come about. Why do you pray to St. Jude? Because in our minds, we think St. Jude is the saint of the impossible. So we turn to St. Jude. Do I see St. Jude as standing in the room? I don't, but maybe some people can. But what I am praying for, Jude, please, please intercede with God for me. Intercede with the Lord for me. And doing that, you're not looking for a specific spirit to come into the room, which I think is different than the Ouija board, where you're expecting that spirit to come into your room. I think when you're praying more in the sense that there's an intercession with God himself, and hoping that God listens and responds to us sometime in the future.
I think that a lot of people, and right now more than ever, this subject is hot, and I think we all know why, and you and I have elected not to get into it at this point. And I know that a psychic certainly did not forecast that one coming. They did not forecast Putin's war. They did not forecast inflation to the point where gas is possibly going to reach $5 a gallon. I've never seen it so insane outside the ropes in my 70 years on the planet. I don't know what it compares to with you. You have a slight advantage with me. But I would think that right now, a lot of people have got to be questioning what on earth is going on, and why isn't God doing more to step into this and help everybody settle down, and this incredible loss of life and everything else. And so when you were talking about St. Jude interceding for you with God, I'd rather go take this directly to God and say, can we get this thing straightened out a little bit? I mean, why are we getting pounded on so hard right now? Why are we being tested as much as we are? Why do you think we are? Why do you think we have a war in Ukraine, that we have a situation here in the United States where all heck is going to break loose, possibly based on what the Supreme Court is going to do, and this divisiveness between all of us? You're either all in or you're all out. I will not walk on your side of the lawn. I won't walk on the same sidewalk you're walking on. Why is it? Why is God letting all of this happen?
Because God does not control us individually, okay? You spoke about abortion. Abortion is not a political issue, and yet it is. It's never meant to be. It's a moral issue because it has to do with killing. It has nothing to do with politics.
Right.
But yet it has become a political issue. And when things become politicized, what happens is there is this controversy among the people. The war, we have someone who seems to be insane at this time. And unfortunately, the world would be a better place without him. That has happened because of that particular individual. When God created us, he created us all with free will, which means you and I can do whatever we want. We can follow the laws of God, or we could go against the laws of God. He doesn't hold us to one or the other. Judgment will take place at the end of time. But meanwhile, we have to try to do our best. We have to try to trust that all things work out for the best. We cannot see the future, no matter how many people we have who say they are people who can tell the future. But I think if we truly trusted in the ways of God, we wouldn't have to be in such turmoil. As I say, prime example is this issue that's now building up, which is abortion. It's not a political issue. We've made it one, and this is why the world is involved. If the world wasn't involved and they let it be a moral issue, it wouldn't be any different than someone who goes around murdering. Do we have a place for that to be political? I don't think so, but abortion seems to be easy enough to handle in a political way.
Well, I just think that right now, when you bundle all of the things going on in the world, in our lives, it just seems that you can take any one of the three or four, if you want to take COVID, Putin's war, if you will, abortion, and you want to take the fact that people can't afford food. We're carrying a lot of weight right now. There's a lot of weight on our shoulders. What do you do when you have this much going on in your life, when you've said, I don't know if I can handle much more?
Well, I think it's because people don't trust in God. I'm going to give you that simple answer because that's all I can give right now. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if we all trusted in God, because God does not directly will evil. That's ridiculous in my mind. God never wants evil in the world. He wants good. And the thing is this, when I say we, I don't mean you and me, but I mean people in general have gone against the way of God, and we're trying to think that we're better than God, and we come up with this wonderful idea. I can take over the whole Eastern European part of the world. So you build this up in your mind and you start killing people in order to achieve your goal. Well, that's not God's doing. Mm-hmm. It's the doings of a man who is mentally ill right now.
You know, the problem that I have with everything right now is that I've never been so nervous to walk into a room of people that I've never met before, but I'm going to be meeting for the first time. Because I don't have any clue where they are.
Well, do you have to?
It would be helpful.
Why?
I'll bring up three really, really quickly for you. I'll just say Trump, abortion, the economy.
Yeah, but I don't think those questions come up until after you know somebody for a while. It's not something that at first meeting, whether it be in a social setting or whatever.
Oh, I think you'd be surprised.
The first thing comes to your mind
Not
is
the first
Trump?
thing. Not the first thing. No, not the first thing.
Okay.
But somehow, some way within the first hour. I know we're all over the place with this, but it's one of those things where I'm frustrated and you're comfortable being where you are, and I think that I draw comfort from that because I know that at the end of the day,
it can be done.
I think it can be done.
Yeah, I have not encountered that. I mean, I've been in a room with real enemies, if you want.
Yeah.
But there's a way, I'm sure there are ways of avoiding those topics if you have to. But in many cases, you don't, because likes seem to stick together. People that...
Oh, yeah, once you thin out your herds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. There's no doubt about it.
Even without knowing exactly what they're thinking, you think alike.
Yeah. Well, I just know that there have been times when I've walked into one or two that I didn't expect, and I had to very carefully get myself out of there.
But you're a man who's in the public life.
People rush over to say hi to me.
No, but I think this is what happens since you are a public figure, at least in the Detroit area, and maybe elsewhere too. But by the same token, you are a public figure, and so people feel they can... What do you think about this, you Mr. Radio Man?
You know, Ken, when you were on WJR, this would have been a perfect topic for your program.
Paul W. says...
Well, I don't... I'm sorry, I'm not Paul W. I'm Ken Calvert. And I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. God's not answering my prayers. Speaking of prayers, can you got something that we can...
very appropriate, very appropriate.
Okay, well, I count on you to do the right thing.
I don't know. It wasn't me. I think it was providential. In any case, God, are you there? God, I have never really talked to you before. Are you really there? Can you really hear me? I know people who claim to know you, and they don't seem as afraid as I do. I don't want to be so afraid. If I knew that you were real, I would want to trust you. Would you help me to believe? If you're real, would you open my eyes and heart to you? Would you give me faith to believe in you and trust you? While I'm stuck at home, would you please guide me to online sources where I can learn more about you? I want to know you're real, and I want to know the comfort that you give to your people. God bless you. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe Podcast.
If you'd like, you can email us. It's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. That's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook. Simply search Father Joe Grimaldi. And thanks for listening, everyone.